Backchat TV. Subscribe.
They're going to bring it to the bell. High drama all night long. Loma combination. Haney back to the chest. Hey, that was great stuff. That was great high-level stuff right there for 12.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Backchat TV. The fight has just ended a couple of hours ago, and I'm literally just making this quick reaction video. I've got a lot to talk about, really. I'm going to try and make it as quick as possible. I don't want it to be long, but I've got a feeling it might be. A lot to say about the fight. It was, first of all, I want to say it was a great fight. High-level fight. I really enjoy watching these high-level fights. A lot of, well, people would say casual fans, they tend to like, you know, knockouts and things like that. I do enjoy knockouts, but sometimes I just love seeing a high-level chess match which isn't a stalemate. Both fighters going for it, you know, just changing game plans within the fight, changing strategies, adapting to situations. They were both, Lomachenko and Haney were both extremely sharp. They both showed a lot of heart. I've got nothing but admiration for both of them. I think that the performance, I mean, from watching this fight, Lomachenko does not have to leave this division. I thought maybe he was a bit too small. He can carry on. He could even fight Devin Haney in a rematch. He can fight anyone. I think Lomachenko had a great performance, got nothing to be embarrassed about, personally. I think he had a great performance, and he's still right there at the top. Devin Haney, I take my hat off to him. I think he's right there at the top as well. So I've got nothing but respect for both fighters. Going on to actually the analysis of the fight. Now, I've only watched it once. I will have to watch it back. But the one thing that stands out to me, one thing that I'm actually quite upset about, to be honest, is this whole narrative about a robbery. I'm very, very upset about this narrative about a robbery. The whole, first of all, majority of the crowd was booing Devin Haney when he got the decision. I didn't like that. I didn't like the post press conference where Lomachenko's manager started talking about the fact that it was a robbery, but I do understand passions are high. I didn't like the fact that so many people treated Devin Haney with so much disrespect, as if it wasn't even close, as if Loma clearly won the fight. I didn't like the fact that Bob Arum tried to pretend as if he was being neutral in the post-fight conference by saying, oh, I'm not going to get involved, it's not my situation, but everyone I was around in the crowd thought that Loma won, and he was indicating that it was obvious that Loma won. I didn't like all that. I just felt like there was this massive bias against Devin Haney. Now, I don't think it was on purpose. I think some of it was on purpose, but some of the professional fighters who also went for Lomachenko, I feel like they were swayed by the fact that Lomachenko landed the cleaner shots, the more eye-catching shots. And Devin Haney's body work throughout the fight, where he landed at will on Lomachenko from round 1 to round 12 to the body, was ignored. Now, this is the issue I have. I personally have it a close fight, but I feel like, you know, it wasn't this massive landslide robbery for Lomachenko. I don't know why people are saying this. I believe that it's because Lomachenko landed the eye-catching shots towards the end of the fight. But again, like Lomachenko did against Teofimo, he started too late. This is the same issue. He gave away too many rounds. He gave away, and don't quote me on this because I have to go back and look at the scorecard, but just from actually watching the fight, Devin Haney took the first round, the second round, Lomachenko took the third round. I think Devin Haney won the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, all those body attacks. Then Lomachenko, after the seventh round, I literally give Lomachenko like one round, which was the third round that he won within the first 7 rounds. Now, he could have won another round, maybe the 6th or the 5th, I'm not sure. But in my mind so far, I'm going to watch it back. It was completely dominant. The body attacks, the hooks, in the beginning, the jab was working, but then Lomachenko found that out pretty quickly, and then the jab wasn't working for Devin Haney anymore. But I mean, come on, you've got to count those body shots all the way consistently throughout the fight. Like I said, the first, the second, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh. I think after the seventh, Lomachenko caught on what was going on, started nullifying a lot of those attacks, and started to make the fight kind of, started to land that straight left from close range, and Devin Haney didn't have much answer for it, and so he took over. The eighth, I think he won. I have to look at it again, but I think Loma won the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, and then the 12th round was like a draw. I'm not sure. I think I edged Haney, but I'm not sure because Lomachenko had some eye-catching shots in the 12th, and then Devin Haney replied back, and I think he landed more shots. Slightly, maybe one more shot. But to be honest, I think the 12th round was like a draw. So this is how I'm looking at it. Now, just people who think Lomachenko won, you know, just go back and watch these body attacks and you'll see what I mean. Lomachenko literally, like I said, he started late. I'll get a bit closer to this so I can pick up my voice here. I think he started too late, Lomachenko. Like I said, I think he won the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, and I think he won the 3rd round from the early round. So that's 5 rounds. But I think it was 5-6, 6-5 going into the 12th round. So, you know, I have it closer than the judges had it. Maybe a split decision. Maybe, you know, I would push towards either Devin Haney winning or a split decision. Devin Haney winning a split decision. I think he would be pushing it a bit far for a draw. I do think Devin Haney won. He picked up too many of those early rounds. But definitely not a robbery. Lomachenko, I understand why people are saying that Lomachenko clearly won, because in the rounds that Lomachenko won, he dominated completely, you know, and his shots were eye-catching. Devin Haney's shots weren't really eye-catching. Some of those body shots, Lomachenko didn't show much reaction, so I think it was just missed, but they were hard body shots, very clear shots under the ribs, straight to the stomach, the solar plexus, around the back of the side. You know, he landed these punches all the way through the fight, and I think they were ignored. Now, the rounds that Lomachenko looked most dominant in, which were like rounds 9, rounds 10, round 11, he looked very dominant. He landed the straight left. Devin Haney's head went back, so it looked obvious. Devin Haney also, being the bigger fighter, stronger fighter, he showed that strength in the first couple of rounds, landing the harder shots. But then he faded because he kind of set a really fast pace. He was really putting a lot of power into those punches in the first couple of rounds, and he looked like the bigger, stronger fighter. But then what happens to bigger, stronger, more muscular fighters? They fade, and that's kind of what happened. Lomachenko started figuring out his entry point, getting closer to Devin Haney, landing that straight left, and switching angles as well. He knew that Devin Haney was actually like trying to land the jab, come on the inside and throwing shots to the body, and he kind of started nullifying that by changing the angle and stuff. He started doing very clever things in there and landing at will on Devin Haney, and that's what made it look as if Lomachenko had won. But if you actually go back and score the fight, every single shot, you'll see that those body shots is what won Devin Haney this fight. So, you know, it's very unsportsmanlike for so many people to be crying robbery. It's an obvious robbery. Lomachenko won, you know what I mean? I just don't know what the reason for that is. I don't want to say there's some racism element to it, you know, but I have no idea, you know, because it was a close fight, but it definitely wasn't a robbery. Devin Haney went out there and performed his socks off. Yes, he faded. I think, like I said before, he was punching with a lot of power. He was trying to really make a statement, and the pace of the fight was actually quite fast. And he faded. Lomachenko started to figure him out, and Lomachenko picked up the later rounds, which is what people remember the most, in quick succession. Like I said, he picked up the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, and then the 12th was extremely competitive. So that's why he looks as if he won. But if you watch the fight properly, Devin Haney picked up the 1st, the second. He lost the third. He came back in the fourth. I'm not sure about the fifth and the sixth, but I know he won one of those. Lomachenko may have won one of those rounds, maybe the fifth, but Devin Haney clearly won the sixth and the seventh. And then, like I said, the eighth, I have to watch that again, but I'm thinking Lomachenko maybe won the eighth, the ninth, the 10th, the 11th, and I give Devin Haney the 12th. Yeah, so my assessment was that it was 6-5 going into the last round, and I think Devin Haney edged it, which gives him 7-5 to Devin Haney, which is a majority decision. Even though people say close, it's still a majority decision, you know. The scorecard was a bit wide. I think there was like a 116 to 112 or something. I would say that was a bit wide if that was a scorecard. I'd have to look at it again. But yeah, great performance. But this whole robbery talk, I felt sorry for Devin Haney having to do a post-fight interview with all these people from America, in America, booing the American. You know, it wasn't right. It wasn't right. Can't take nothing away from Lomachenko. Obviously, he's devastated. I understand why he would say it was obvious that he was robbed. I don't blame the fighter for thinking that he was robbed. And I know that's kind of an unusual statement, but I don't blame the fighter in this situation because there's a lot of emotions involved. They're in the fight. They don't really know exactly how many punches were landed and how many were not landed. You know, Lomachenko probably remembers the rounds from the 8th round where he started coming on strong. You know, the 8th round, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, and he remembers all those rounds where he clearly won, and so he sees that as a representation of the whole fight. But it's not. It's 12 rounds. What about rounds 1 to round 7 where he didn't really do much? What about that? Do you see what I mean? So, you know, I don't blame Lomachenko, like I said. I think he fought really well. He figured out Haney, what Haney was trying to do when he was trying to kind of tie him up and land body shots on the inside. But Haney made some mistakes after the 8th round. He kept going back in a straight line and getting caught with that straight left. And he got caught with that countless times. And he got caught with a few follow-up right hands as well. And, you know, Lomachenko was catching with those short, fast punches, was catching him a lot in the later rounds. Like I said, from rounds 9 onwards, 9, 10 and 11. And at the beginning of round 12, you know, and when he did land these punches, you know, they looked really good, you know, because I think Devin Haney was kind of fatigued. He kind of got a second win back in the 12th round, but, you know, he ran out of gas, basically, from the 9th round to the 11th round. And those were the rounds that Lomachenko looked really dominant. And I think that's why everyone is thinking that, you know, it's so obvious that he won, like I said. But if you watch the fight, Lomachenko took too long. He did the same thing against Teofimo. He took too long. Like I said, the first round, although the fights were competitive and he was, you know, he was still in the early fights, Devin Haney was clearly doing the landing the harder shots. Landing the harder shots to the body. He was pressing the action. Lomachenko was on the back foot from rounds 1 to round 7. He was on the back foot. He wasn't landing anything really noticeable. Like I said, Haney was dominating the first half of the fight. Shots to the body, a few hooks here and there, jabs. But his body attack was the most obvious. But I think a lot of people missed it. A lot of people missed his body attacks. And then, obviously, attacks to the head look more eye-catching because your head goes back or you kind of stumble a bit. And that's what I saw from Lomachenko. He had the more eye-catching shots. Devin Haney landed, I think, the harder shots. I think he landed the harder shots. And like I said, if you look at Lomachenko's face, you know, Lomachenko's face doesn't look like someone who wasn't in a fight. So I don't know why people are acting as if, you know, Haney hardly touched Lomachenko and stuff. It wasn't like that at all. Let me know what you think. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people that say, you know, what fight was I watching? Because a lot of people think Lomachenko clearly won. And to those people, I would say, just go back and watch the fight, like I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and watch the fight and look at the body shots. Look at the body attacks, because a lot of people have ignored the body attacks in the early part of the fight. It was the same as the Teofimo thing. The first 6 rounds the majority was Devin Haney. I only gave Lomachenko like 1 round, which was the 3rd round in the first 6. Now, he may have got another round. That's why I need to watch it again. I mean, literally, like I said, I have to go back and watch it again. But from the 1st round to the 8th round, I only give Lomachenko maybe 3 rounds. He may have. Basically, I think he only won the 3rd round and the 8th round from 1 to 8. But he may have won another round. But literally, he didn't win more than 3 rounds in the first 8 rounds, if you watch it properly. His success comes later on in the fight, from the 8th, 9th round long. Maybe even Devin Haney may have even won the 8th round. I'm not sure. I have to watch it again. But I think Lomachenko edged the 8th round. And then after that, he was just on a roll and he was unstoppable. And then he won the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th. And the 12th was a toss-up round. If you give Lomachenko the 12th round, then it would be the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And then round 3 would be 6 apiece, which would make it a draw. That's the closest I could have it. But yeah, Devin Haney, for me, won this fight. And yeah, I'm interested to hear the scorecards of other people, what they think in terms of the rounds, who they think won. It is just a conversation, you know, no one has to take it personal. I'm not bashing anybody, but I am a bit upset about the disrespect that's been shown to the unified champion. Let me know what you think. I'm on to the next one.